Welcome back to another Tiger Style podcast. I'm Keenan Haggerty, Bo Bayman, Coach Smith. We've got a special guest today, Aeoden Sinclair, incoming freshman for Tiger Style. Ready to dive into it. Coach Smith, what year is this? We're diving into the 24-25 season. What year is this?
For me, it's 27, so getting up there. What are you looking at, Bo?
I'm just saying. I thought it was higher. No,
Come on now.
I'm just teasing.
Bo, you've been a part of probably
I've been a while. I've been around for a while.
3/4 of those.
Yeah, probably 3/4. It's about right.
That's awesome.
It's been
That's
a
good
long
stuff.
relationship. Yep.
Yep, and then there's Aeden in his first year.
Freshman.
Fresh
rookie.
face.
Let's
A
give you a little
rookie.
bit of a background on Aeden from Edgerton, Wisconsin, product of Askren Wrestling Academy. He's done some things in his day. So most recently was a U20 Pan Am champion at 86 kilograms. So congratulations, Aeden, on that achievement this last summer. 3-time Wisconsin state champion, went 82-0 over his final 2 seasons, including 37-0 senior year, all by bonus points.
Yeah.
Doggone.
Let's go.
You better keep that going.
Obviously. You know what made me mad too? Ben said I wasn't a pinner. I said, what are you talking about? Like, we'll pull up my stats right now. Maybe
Pull them up. Super 32 champion, Fargo champion, Who's Number 1 champion, U17 team member, USA team member, and winner of the Dave Schultz High School Excellence Award for the nation. Mizzou's first wrestler to win that national honor. So
That's big time. I like it.
Yeah.
pretty special. Aeden, man, welcome to Tiger Style. We just want to get to know you, let the people of Tiger Style, the fans, everybody get to know who you are, talk a little bit about the summer and training. Bo, grill you with some questions.
Yeah, right. Well, how did you find your way to Askren Academy from Edgerton?
Yeah. So it was interesting. I was at a different club throughout until I was like 8th grade. It was called Advanced School of Wrestling. It was actually, I think, originally started by Terry and is it Troy Steiner? The Steiner.
Yes.
Terry Troy. I think they originally started it, and then they went off to do their other stuff, and they gave it to a alumni from Wisconsin, and then he gave it to the next coach. But anyway, I was there. COVID happened in 8th grade, and Askren bought out my club. I had grown up all the way to 8th grade. Everyone saying like, Askren's the enemy. Don't listen to him. He's so full of himself. And I was like,
Well, that's true.
I was about to say, fact check.
they were telling me all this stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they bought my club, and they put in this guy. His name's Tristan Moran. I think he's originally from not Oklahoma, Arizona, then Oklahoma, but he was a former UW Badger, and I was like, man, this guy's awesome. He's always so happy. I really like being here. I want to be here all the time. And so I just spent more time at the wrestling club, and I got better. And then I went to Heartland because I was like, I had my freshman year, I lost to Mitchell Messerbrink. I was like, I want to be that good. And so I was like, I'll go to Heartland, wrestle with Mitchell Messerbrink more. And we became really good buddies. And then I met Ben, and everything was taken off from there. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And to me, the wrestling in the state of Wisconsin has really elevated in the last, 5 to 7 years. Can you tell that?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's if you were to go back to like even when I was in 6th grade and you see the kids, like we were one of the first emerging groups to actually like go and compete into like national stuff and do those Virginia Beach duels and do those I think Wildwood, New Jersey duels or Ohio middle school duels. We did that stuff. We were out there competing. Actually, it's funny. If you know who the Marisola twins are, I grew up with them. They're really awesome kids. And when we were kids, we wrestled each other at this tournament. And my dad, I wrestled one. And then in the next match, I had the other brother, the twin. And my dad was like, "He just wrestled. He just wrestled." And it was a close match. So they were like, my dad was like, obviously wanted me to be like, I don't know, maybe he was worried for me or something. But we grew up together, all of us. We all traveled together, got better together. Ben provided us with a lot of opportunities to be around each other. I mean, I live 2 hours away from them, so I don't really get to see them that often, but Ben's always doing these Fargo prep camps or these, hey, come on Fridays when we don't have scheduled practice during the week. Everyone, all the elite guys come down. People from Green Bay will go down. And so I think we just kind of bred a culture of loving wrestling, and we all got better together. And I think it's evident in our class. It also kind of had a ripple effect with our competition in the state too, because there's kids who didn't necessarily go to Akron who were pretty good. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And now you're here. First of all, when did you get here, and how's the first little bit been?
It was good. So I don't know. Down in the South, everyone graduates high school way earlier than in the North. I
It's
realized. So I had graduated high school, and I got down here like probably 3 or 4 days after, and started my summer classes. It was around June this summer. At first, I got down here, I guess, the cicadas. It was so and I thought it was normal. I was so worried. I thought it was normal. I walked into my room. I was like, what? Where am I? Where am I? And then they said they would be gone pretty soon. And I was like, okay.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Shelter Insurance. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction for auto insurance in the Central Region by J.D. Power 5 out of the last 6 years. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
And it was the perfect storm this year. Like,
Yeah.
we had massive cicadas.
It was crazy. I went to bring my boxes into the apartment, and I was, they were all on me. I was like, freaking me out.
This is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then I just realized that was going to be done. And then the summer's being hot. I'm not accustomed to hot weather. I like being indoors and wrestling and sleeping. I don't know, more of a caveman, I would have to say. But I'm getting used to it. Maybe I'm getting tanner. Maybe I'm not. Who knows? But, yeah, the summer was awesome. I'd have to be careful sometimes for freestyle Greco. If I stay on the sun too long, my skin will burn, so gut wrench defense is like the worst thing in the world. That happened right after U.S. Open. I was like, I don't need sunscreen. I'm tough. But couldn't wrestle for a week after that. But, yeah, a lot of fun. Awesome to be down here. Awesome to not have to drive so far to get really great partners and be around great guys. So.
Well, talk about that a little bit more. You mentioned summer training, but now we're jumping into preseason and kicking things off. Are you starting to get accustomed to classes at the college level, or and your scheduling and everything?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I feel like I'm better at, like, I always like conversation with teacher kind of in the classroom of 20 kids. You know, it wasn't too hard to do. Now you can't do that at all. Or I try sometimes, but I just kind of embarrass
Coach
myself.
Smith, was there a professor that limited him on his questions that he could ask? Is
Well,
that
I
true?
try to.
Or was that just Rorick and everybody
Work, me,
else?
Everybody else. Ben.
Yeah.
Ben warned me.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have a professor yet that can. I have a class of 300, so I try to do call and response in there a little bit, but people are just like, ugh. Like, I'm just like, okay, fine. I'll just listen. But and then in my Spanish class, you have to ask questions in Spanish, and it's hard to ask questions in Spanish. So I stay a little bit more silent.
So maybe I should pass that as a rule. You can only ask questions in Spanish.
That'd be really hard. Especially with wrestling. But yeah,
We'll
no.
know how to answer it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, everything's good. Balancing is something that's new, but I've always taken hard classes in high school. I ended high school with 10 AP classes. I had like a 3.99, so I've always balanced work and school. I guess maybe work and work. I don't really know. Wrestling's fun, so I would say fun and school.
So what's your degree program?
International business. So it's a dual major. I think I brought in like 45 or 50 credits from high school. So I have all my gen eds done. I think I'm right into like the specific stuff for your degree. I don't really know how it all works still. Clay helps me out. He's the man.
Clay is the man.
But I'm in this political science class, microeconomics, Spanish, advanced composition, and I have this journalism class that's starting a little bit later. But other than that, yeah, it's very fun. I like to watch a lot of wrestling too in the Matsy to get my hours in.
Don't say that.
Or study film on economics.
Yes, there
The
you
economics of an underhook. That's what I meant to say. I'm over
good
my
answer.
hours.
Good
It's all
answer.
the same.
All right.
I'm at 10 and a half hours right now, so we're good.
I'm going to ask Coach Smith and Aeden a question. We did something unique last week. Got to work with some ex-Marines and really kind of put each other in some uncomfortable situations, challenge the team. Aeden, how was it from your perspective? And then Coach Smith, how was it from the observation side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a lot of fun with it. I've always liked no matter how much I like, maybe even sometimes I even tell myself, I'm like, I don't like to run, or I don't like to do. It's usually running, but I like doing hard things, so difficult things. So when they came in and they said it was gonna be like a boot camp thing, like at first I was like a little nervous, anxious, because I was like, I don't want to interfere with my training too much. But then I realized it's just a game. I can have fun. I can challenge myself, see how far I can push myself, and see what we can do and see what it's all about. And I think once I made that shift, I was just a lot happier. I mean, I'm always usually pretty happy about doing things, but yeah, it was a lot easier to do this stuff when I thought of it like a game and like a little challenge, and it was like, I'm not gonna break, like, not gonna happen. So I think that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It was just a bunch of fun. I thought the treading water was a lot of fun. I wish we did more stuff like that.
As you're drowning.
As I was drowning, yeah, this is pretty crazy. I was not the best at treading water, but I still had a lot of fun doing it. And it was also cool that some teammates that I didn't really think would help me out. And I was like, oh man, I don't know, only been here 2.5 months, so I don't really know everyone's character. And I was like, that's what the kind of person he's like. I was like, that's awesome. So I got to know everyone better. I had a lot of fun. I wanted to do more leadership stuff, but obviously when you're a freshman, sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult. Even if you're like Olympic gold medalist and you come in as an incoming freshman, institutions are institutions. You gotta let leaders be leaders, especially now. And then when your time comes, you get to be a leader. But I think, yeah, I love leadership. I just had a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. FUN.
Coach Smith, your perspective on things?
It was interesting because at first they came right in and challenged them in every way. And wrestlers, when they get challenged, they almost want to fight. So it was like they wanted to fight the Marines, and the Marines weren't putting up with it. And so it just became this clash until they finally figured out that what they were doing, yes, it was physical, but it was the mental side of it too, on how to be a good teammate. And once they kind of started to figure that out by helping each other, they get the work done quicker. And how getting along and working together and not talking over each other and trying to figure things out. And they really made them use their minds, even though they tortured their bodies, but they had to use their minds. And by the end of it, it was, I think, one of the best team building things we've done in a long time. That at first they hated it, but by the end of it, they could see the purpose of what was going on and picked up a lot quicker. Like even in the treading water, they had to switch sweatshirts that were sopping wet, put them on, but some guys were drowning and waterboarding a sweatshirt over their face and drowning. But they started to, the first time they did it, it took 5 minutes to get all the sweatshirts on. By the end, it was like a little over a minute to accomplish it. And they realized that by working together, no matter what it is, if we work together and get along and we're a team and there's leaders and there's listeners, and we can accomplish a lot more. And I think that's what they took from it.
Tiger fans, say aloha to Hawaiian Bros, where the island-inspired flavors are positively delicious. You'll love favorites like huli huli chicken, luau pig, and the delectable Dole soft serve. Hawaiian Bros, just south of campus on Grindstone Parkway, or order at hawaiianbros.com.
And there was always a standard. They set it for themselves, and they just wouldn't accept anything below the standard, and that was huge to see them hold each other accountable to it.
I noticed it go into effect when I walked into they did a locker room check when they first arrived, the Marines, and they were taking pictures of some messy lockers. And the day after we finished, I think it was a day or two after, we had a team meeting, and they discussed, let's set the standards of what we want our locker room to be. The mission is to have it clean and healthy locker room. And then they had a whole bunch of standards and put it together, and Cade Moore took over as the leader, and guys cleaned it up and listened. And we're all helping each other. And I saw some guys in one day when I was walking through, and they're like, don't look right yet. This one locker, we're calling them right now. And so, but I sent a picture to the Marines, and the locker room was spotless. It was, it's definitely made a change in how we're approaching. And I mean, I'm always detailed with, you're going to wear the same dress to practice, and we're going to look like a team. Some guys think that's crazy, but we had recruits in this past weekend, and one of the dads is a coach, and one of the things, he's like, I really love that you have that discipline, that you're wearing the same things, and your team, they recognized our Grateful Day on Friday, and so That was probably one of the, you went through it in the summer, but little things we do that bring us together as a team, which is important.
It's attention to detail, and then the other side of it, it's accountability.
Yes.
When your brothers are counting on you, and if you can clean the locker room, you can do it on the mat too.
Yep, and if you can keep Aiden from drowning and be accountable that you don't know these teammates, but they took care of you, now you have more trust in them.
Yeah, Carter McAllister, he said he was helping me out a bunch.
Coach, what were your thoughts going into it? You know, they were kind of giving us the pre-prep talk about it, and you know, Coach, you're going to see some of the things that you would probably see in the
Midway through
season,
yeah.
if we didn't do this. And
They said they're going to bring up issues that will occur maybe halfway through a season in a day and a half, and they did.
Wow.
Some guys were, you know, giving attitudes and this and that, and didn't want to listen, and they got called out on it. And by the end of it, they were getting along. They were listening. They were asking questions of the Marines, and that there was a respect that was grown through some adversity. It took that adversity and the calling out, and then calling each other out. That when people didn't show up with their bag packed right or weren't doing things right, hey, you got to step up, and that's part of being a successful team, holding each other accountable.
it was a great start to the year. I'm glad that we did it at the beginning. Coach Smith, I think that you would probably agree that it was really impactful for the group.
It definitely, for the whole program.
So, well, let's segue into what's coming up for Aeden and a couple other guys in Tiger Style. Headed to the World Team Trials in Omaha, Nebraska, September 14th and 15th. That's Saturday and Sunday. Aeden wrestling 92 kilograms. And then we've got Jared Jakes, who's part of the club, wrestling at 70 kilograms. And then Keegan O'Toole at 79 kilograms. Good group going up there.
Yeah.
Aeden, ready to go?
Yes, sir. Always ready. I love to compete. No problem with it at all. I feel like some people get like nervous or like I don't want to wrestle senior level stuff or I don't whatever my record this whatever that. It's like I don't know. Let's just compete. Let's just have fun. I get to wrestle some of these guys that I grew up watching, and I get to see if they're really all that. And wrestling is wrestling, and I get 6 minutes to goof around and have fun, and I'm excited.
You also learn things when you go to that.
Oh,
just
100%.
because it's not that you haven't seen stuff before, but just different caliber of guys.
Definitely, yeah. So that was kind of I wrestled at the like trying to qualify for the Olympic trials. It was called like Last Chance Olympic Qualifier, and I wrestled some guys that I was like, the hand fight is way different. Like this dude, he's 28. He's strong. Like, this is just different than a high school kid, obviously. Another big reason I want to go is because I saw Jarrett and Keegan are going, and I was like, well, if all of August I get to be surrounded by them, there's no way I don't get better. Like, they're training to do things that I want to do, and so it's like, why wouldn't I go? Why wouldn't I get – and I get to spend the weekend with them and see how they compete. They're guys I look up to. They're guys who did the right things in the program, and it's like – it just seemed like such a no-brainer, you know? Outcome out of the way, you know? It's like I'm getting better for sure just by being there. So I'm just excited to compete. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Get a road trip in with the guys. I think I get my own room. I think they decided. So
It's an awesome mentality.
yeah.
Coach Smith, I'm sure that's what you noticed early on in the recruiting process with Aeden. It's just
Yeah. I think it was on my second call with Aeden. We had a 25-minute discussion on Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And my wife, when I hung up after about a half hour, 40 minutes, she's like, who the heck was that on the phone? I said, that was Aeden Sinclair. He's coming on a visit in a few weeks. And she's like, you were talking about, I said, he's off the charts, a bright kid, loves everything he does, whether it's the classroom wrestling. He's so passionate, as you can tell. And I said, you're going to love him when he comes in, and his mom and dad are great. Of course, they were over the house. They had a rocking good time. And she met Aeden, and she understood why I had a 25-minute conversation on Shakespeare, which I didn't know a lot about, but he was teaching me up.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Did he have good questions?
always. Never stops.
Yeah.
And still, to this, every day in practice,
Yeah.
Aiden's the first one with his hand up.
This episode of Mizzou Storytellers on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast is brought to you by Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants. Sophia's and Addison's Restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations in Southwest and downtown Columbia and features over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers and, of course, their famous Nachos Bianco. So remember, before or after the game, stop by Addison's.
Yeah, you should meet my original club coaches back in like fourth, fifth grade. They would call me "What if Aeden" because I asked a lot of "what if" questions.
What if Aeden?
I've gone away from that now, so it's like now I can't just ask questions.
We're gonna have to get Greg Warren in a room with Aeden.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that would be.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, I used to ask questions to waste time because I was chunky and didn't want to do conditioning.
Ooh, that's what I'm going to call you out on now.
Now I don't waste. I promise
Sounds
you.
different.
I'm here to battle. I love
Coach, my
battling.
shoes untied.
Yeah.
I need a knee pad. I think my nose is running.
Well, to kind of give you a little backstory, the World Team Trials, this is just for the non-Olympic weights, so that's why there's only a few of them that will be competing, and the Olympians won't be competing at those trials. So we've got those 3 guys going up there to compete, which is going to be a great time. Again, that's September 14th and 15th. Make sure you
That'll be
tune
on
in.
Flow, too.
On Flow, so good group. Really excited for them to get up there and compete. So, and then our mat side and season tickets
Yep.
are the renewals are going on sale. They may be live now. I don't want to misspeak, so that might be happening now as we speak or within the next couple days. So make sure that if you were a previous season ticket owner or mat side, you're checking your Mizzou Ticketmaster accounts. There's been a few changes, which is described and detailed in your email, so pay attention to those. Drink tickets are still included, parking included, early arrival, but there are a few changes in there, so make sure you're reading what they're sending you from the ticket office. And then dive into the home schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
I know that is coming out here shortly with those renewals.
Yeah, we have the Tiger Style Invite will be the first home duel. Well, even though it's not a duel, it's
Right.
a tournament, but it's at Staley. But it's our home event here in the state. Staley's been a great host, a great big gym where we can put the formats. And I know we have a lot of the same teams, but we've added another big. We have Maryland coming back and Purdue this year, I think it is.
Purdue is replacing Lindenwood from last
Okay.
year, so
Okay.
So
there's
we'll
your big change for the Tiger Style Invite.
So and similar other, I think Little Rock's coming.
Little
Cal
Rock,
Poly.
Cal Poly, SIUE.
Yep. So
Purdue
it'll be
and
some
us.
good competition to come out and watch, a good amount of our wrestlers competing. We'll get to see where our guys are at early. We have a duel the week before that on the road with Northern Colorado, so we'll get tested out there and see where we are, and then the tournament. But then we don't have like a home duel till January. It's a strange schedule this year because we gave one of our home dates. We're going to have it in Wisconsin, which makes some guys happy.
Sure.
A few of our
Do you
wrestlers.
call it Wisconsin?
I call it Missouri North, but just
All
so
right.
people know where Missouri North is, it's sometimes called Wisconsin. But we're heading up to Missouri North to have a duel at Arrowhead High School, which is the home of Ben and Max Askren, Keegan O'Toole. So they'll be excited in that town that we're bringing
yeah.
the. And then we'll take, it's our home duel, but we're taking on Northern Iowa. And Northern Iowa has Parker Kakaisen, who's also an
right.
Askren Academy young man. So there could be 3 or 4 Askren Academy kids in the lineup. So it'll be it'll be sold out in probably a day.
Yeah.
So there's already people begging for tickets, and so if you're interested in tickets, contact Keenan and let him know. Email Keenan and let him know so we can hold some tickets because they're not going to last very long. But then in January we open a home slate with Cornell, then Stanford, Utah Valley, Arizona State, West Virginia, Iowa State, all at home. It's a really good home schedule, all bunched in there in 2 months. I think the Cornell duel will be a Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, nice.
So we're finally bringing back the Beauty and
Returning
the
it.
Beast, and
Yeah.
it just got approved the other day, and so that'll be a big crowd, I'm sure,
Yeah.
with Cornell as an opponent anyway. But then you add in the gymnastics, we may sell out the venue. So Stanford's another tough opponent that's going to do well, if not win the. They're in the ACC, so they'll be competing now for the first year in the ACC. So, but they won the scuffle last year. Utah Valley's coming in, which is a Big 12 affiliate. That will be, I think, bobblehead day. So we'll be featuring
Letting the cat out of the bag, Coach
a
Smith.
new bobblehead. I'm not telling you who, but
All right.
there'll be a bobblehead day. So, and then Arizona State, who is a new Big 12 member.
Yeah, that's right.
So that they will come in, and they're a high-level team that finished in the top 5 last year, if I'm not mistaken. Then West Virginia, who's much improved, and Iowa State, who took 4th in the country last year. So Cornell was second. Arizona State, I think, was 5th, and Iowa State was 4th. I mean, we have a tough home schedule this year with some quality teams. So please get those tickets bought. You know, mat sides aren't going to last long. It goes out to the renewals. If they don't repurchase them because it was sold out last year, there'll be some tickets available after that time.
Something that was pretty sweet. Tiger Style was top 10 in attendance last year, and trying to set the bar even higher now, raise that standard. So make sure that you're at the Hearn Center, you're cheering on the Tigers. We've got an awesome home schedule, like Coach Smith was saying. It's just going to be a great time.
Yeah.
Good team, some new faces, you know, losing some seniors. So going to be some new guys in there. Make sure that you're there at the Hearns cheering on the guys, and then also over at the arena for the Beauty and the Beast. So
That'll be fun. I mean, back in the day when you guys used to do that, I remember that, and it would get big crowds. And now both programs have elevated.
Yeah.
I expect you're right. It's going to be close to packed.
People have been driving me crazy, not in a bad way, but just, Coach, when are you going to do that again? When are we going to have a Beauty and a Beast again? And I said, I got to find more beauty. I got to find more guys that can fit the role. So it'll be fun. It'll be a good event with some great action because, yes, gymnastics is top 10. We're top 10. So it'll be an amazing day for Mizzou athletics.
Well, last thing I've got for you guys is a little plug. Make sure you guys are joining the Takedown Club. Everything has been moved to one place, tigerswithstyle.com. You can find all the information there. Make sure you join the Takedown Club. Join us at our Tiger Style tailgates, at our events.
When is the next tailgate for a
Next
football game?
tailgate is going to be September 21st. That's the Vanderbilt game.
Okay.
I believe that's family weekend.
I think you're right,
If I'm not mistaken. So, next tailgate will be September 21st. Expect another good one. So join the Takedown Club, tigerswithstyle.com. Bo, Coach Smith, Aeden, anything else for the fans?
What do you got for us, Bo?
I'm just glad to be back, to be honest. I'm glad that school has started, and the season will be here before you know it. Because as we know, when football starts, it goes like that.
Yeah, I think we're 7 weeks away from our opening duel.
Yeah.
And Black and Gold will be...
Black and Gold, October 25th. That's a Friday. So it'll be an evening, Black and Gold. Make sure you're there.
Awesome.
Love it.
Well, as always, Tiger Style, stay ready.